Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the English Shooting live stream. Thank you very much for joining. For all you regulars, you know what the deal is. For anyone new, this is an opportunity to talk about all things shooting sports, firearms ownership, whether in the UK or abroad. We're going to talk a lot of touch on a lot of different discussions, different questions, maybe. So have your voice heard. If you have a question, then pose it. If you agree with anything that is said either in chat or by my beautiful self, then please do use chat and get involved. This is an opportunity for everyone to raise anything that they might want to, or talk about anything that they think are important. But what is important is that you hit that like button. It is free. It takes literally a fraction of a second, and it really does help this channel and live stream grow, as well as hitting that subscribe button. If you regularly tune in and don't subscribe, then why do you regularly tune in? Don't you want to know when there's a live stream or there's a new video? So hit that subscribe button. Again, it is muchly appreciated. The stream tonight. Well, in complete honesty, tearing down the M27 at probably quarter to 8, it was not looking good. And I have to say that everything was pretty much rushed. Eating my dinner, getting everything set up. So I haven't had a lot of time to prepare in terms of topics, but obviously something that is big for me certainly is this weekend, because it is the UKPSA AGM, and I will again be standing for the position of treasurer. And I've spent a lot of time over the previous few weeks thinking or trying to come to the conclusion of why I still do this. Why what drives me to do live streams, what drives me to do videos, what sort of drives me even to go shooting, and or jumping through all the various hoops that need to be jumped through to do it, and what on earth would incentivize me to continue as treasurer of the UKPSA, certainly given certain individuals comments and personal attacks over the previous few weeks. And there is no actual logical reason. I think ultimately, I don't think it really makes a lot of sense to dedicate a load of time to something that really you don't get a lot out of. The channel, personally, it's caused difficulties over the years. It's a lot of time, it's a lot of expense at time, and same for the role of the treasurer. But the answer that I always come to, and the thing that just continues to drive and push forward, is growing this sport, promoting this sport, and pushing this sport difference, and aiming to make a difference. And I sort of had to remember what I said last year when I was running for the role, which is, I do the channel, I do the live stream, I do the videos, and from day one, that has all been about sharing, when I first started, my limited knowledge about firearms laws and everything to do with shooting that I was learning at the time, and just this inclination that there was loads of people out there that, similar to me, would love to get into the sport, but maybe don't even know it's there, don't even know where to start, or maybe have got so far and just been overwhelmed with the application forms and all the processes that you need to. So, I just felt, well, hang on a minute, I love this sport so much. There's going to be other people that will love it the same, that just don't know about it. Let's share it. And then, of course, for me, doing a channel on the side um, does its bit, I feel, to overall a positive effect. But I wanted to do more. I wanted to help push the sport forward more as I've grown, developed, got more professional experience and life experience. It's like I can take that from the channel and put it somewhere else. And I think ultimately that's where I find myself, within the UKPSA at the moment. Obviously, it's undeniable, I'm incredibly passionate about practical shooting in particular, and I want to see it grow and develop and improve, and push forward into new realms. So I think that's really the crux of it. I hope I have potentially a better, more expanded, polished answer for Sunday, but I may just get a clip of this and just replay it. It'd be a lot more a lot more simplistic. But I think that's it. Why would I end up dedicating so much time to running a channel that, it has led on to quite amazing things, meeting amazing people, ending up in amazing places, and it's effectively how Connors and I met. And now there's Magload, or there was Magload before, but now I'm involved with Magload. But yeah, I just, I felt there was more that I could offer, and sort of shouting from the sidelines from a channel is not always the most impactful that you can be. And I guess, as well, as whilst I feel this way, there's probably a lot of you out there that have a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of experience, and a tremendous amount of passion, and it's about getting involved. There's no, I think, hard and fast rules about who can or can't. I spent so many years with the early days of this channel with people saying, "You're not experienced enough, you haven't been shooting long enough, you don't know enough." And it's like, well, okay, well, where are the people that do know everything? Where are the people that are incredibly experienced? Where are the people that have the credentials to be making these videos? Because I don't see them. So I guess it's maybe a call out to anyone out there that feels that you have something to push forward and benefit the sport, whether it is sharing videos, where it's explaining firearms law, or running for positions in associations and organizations, to actually have a positive steer, or to have a steer of the organization or area of the sport that you're so passionate about. So yeah, that's yeah, so again, not really anything sort of tangible or logical when it breaks down to it, but is a passion or love for something ever driven by something that's really logical? I don't think it's I could tell you elements, and I'm sure every one of you could tell me elements of shooting sports you enjoy, which adds to why you love it so much. But can anybody really put their finger on exactly what it is about shooting sports and firearms ownership that we also enjoy, and we share the love of? I think it must be just the certain type of person. I've been speaking. Say all the time, there's a disproportionate amount of engineers within shooting sports. A lot of very logical, technically minded individuals that seem to just get particularly drawn to shooting sports and firearms ownership. And I think that's widespread across the world. Of course, it's still a mixed and varied selection of motley crews that you'll find down on a range, but I think there's that particular mindset and particular way of approaching thing that is particularly driven to people of that sort of logical, mechanically minded. But yeah, anyway, I literally, yeah, as I said, it's not any real hard and fast topics for this evening. So if you want to assist in any topics or questions that you may have, then then it would be appreciated, because it was literally rushed and came very, very close to putting out that message. Oh no, sorry, not this week, but we missed last week. Let's maybe I'll stop rambling and being soppy about this sport and my love and passion for it, and demonstrate exactly the lengths that I will go to take part in this sport. So it has been a busy week or two, having flown out to, and I know it's a hard life, but someone does have to do it. Flying out to Tenerife. I don't think I actually. No, I didn't mention it at the last Thursday because there wasn't a stream, and I don't think I even remembered it. I mentioned it that much on the stream before. But anyway, there was an IPSC mini rifle match out in Tenerife, and basically all the experience that you can get your hands on in the run up to the 2025 mini rifle world shoot to be held in the Czech Republic. Basically, we needed to go out and do it, and it was a fantastic experience, actually filled with a lot of firsts. It's the first time that I've traveled with firearms. It's the first time that I've gone like specifically to go shooting abroad in a discipline that is also available here in the UK. So I've never I thought shotgun would potentially be the first one, but yeah, never gone and done practical shotgun abroad. It's always handgun shooting, Pan Ams, European handgun championships. It's always to go and do something that we can't actually do here. So it does seem a little bit of overkill to travel all that way to do a sport that we can still do here in the UK. But that's the passion, the passion that keeps us going. So there are a few videos that I'm pretty sure I'll do a full match video because it was an incredibly well run match, and my sort of match as well. I love sort of fast paced, rapid, um, rapid shooting. Basically, I do like pistol stages, but I tend to do better with pistol stages when I've got a rifle or a shotgun in my hands. Still not completely au fait with pistols, but I thought I'd just share a few videos. What stage was this? This was stage 13. I thought I did sort of jump the gun. I need to check if I was still third on this because the results were still live and being added to. But at the time I posted this, I was still third on this stage. Let's is that yeah, that is being shared. So yeah, it is odd to be abroad with your own gun. This stage I think was a little too was it this one a little too blatty? Yeah, top up on that left one. I think maybe another top up there. But a nice fun, whilst it's actually quite a small compact stage, it was still a lot to it, a lot of footwork, a lot of movement, a lot of apertures. This had a lot of movement as well. Apertures and swinging targets. Very, very pistol stage. But you can absolutely rapid it with a rifle. Little top up on the right hand target. And I don't think I've actually ever come up a target like that. What was this stage? Oh, this was not so much movement, but a lot of quick trigger, very close arrays. So just transitioning as quickly as possible, trying to pull the trigger as quickly as possible. Just that little bit of movement in between. Again, very, very pistolly, very sort of technical, fast paced. I think this is the last one that I've put out. Footwork very important with this one, especially when I initially forget that there's a target on the right hand side. But yeah, as you can see, incredibly a lot of shooting, but there we go. A lot of shooting, but very quick. I'm not just talking about my own shooting there. I just mean there's a lot in a very, very small place. I will be doing a full video on the processes of taking guns abroad. It's something now I've traveled with people previously that have had guns, but they've been left to their own devices. I was traveling with Connors and Paul, and I was with them for the entire process. I have to give an absolute amazing shout out to EasyJet. I know budget airlines don't always get the best rep. If you are flying anywhere with a firearm from the UK or probably anywhere in the world, use EasyJet. It was, for what we were expecting to be an incredibly arduous, complex process, it was actually fairly straightforward. Little bit of waiting, but EasyJet just made it so much easier. EasyJet making it easy. It's in the name. But yeah, it was a new experience having to go through all of the different customs and pull out guns in the airport. It's always interesting. But yeah, going out there, just a little bit of waiting to and from getting the paperwork is quite important. But yeah, not an issue. No snags, no problems. Just an extra little bit of time was needed to get everything done. Again, fly EasyJet and get to the airport bloody early. The earlier you can get there, the better. And here's a quick tip: if you want to be able to check in your bag before bag drop opens, travel with a gun, because they pretty much allow you to do anything. It's like, yeah, we really need to get this on the plane and get this thing moving. So yeah, check your normal bags, and we'll take care of the rest. But yeah, really easy overall. Picking up the other side, it was quite bemusing coming back. Stood there in the customs, and anybody that's flown in and out of Gatwick, you'll know that the customs desk is right by the exit. So everybody that's coming through is is walking right past you, and you've got these cases of guns that obviously before they allow you to walk away with, they're in possession of it. Before they hand them over to you, they need to check obviously there's the right licensing and everything's hunky-dory where that's concerned. And they were just like, yeah, let's just get the guns out in front of everybody here in customs. I'm like, really? Just don't you have a back room? Don't you have a back room that we could, get some guns out in an airport in, rather than potentially waving them around here? Fortunately, we had quite a big case, so it did shield most of it, but there were a few interesting looks being being thrown. And funnily enough, this will all be included in the video, but it will be a lot more concise. And I actually have some covert recording. Not covert. These were taken in areas where I was allowed to film. But yeah, just little clips of bits of the process. And that's did I not get a photo? Yeah, they do get the special treatment. They really do get the special treatment if you're traveling with guns. They were literally the last bags to be put on the plane and the first to be taken off, which is always very convenient. If you want another top tip, if you want your whole bag to come off first, put ammo in it. They get it off first and they put it on last. No problems at all there. But something that I've always wondered, I can't remember the exact wording of the part of the law, but there is a part of UK firearms law that allows anybody who is not a prohibited person to be nominated by a certificate holder to travel with their firearms. And that might sound absolutely crazy, and that's exactly what I thought the first time that it popped up. I might be able to find it very, very quickly. But I've always thought, well, how can you just nominate somebody to take possession of your gun to travel with it? No, I don't want to search the entire Mac. Oh, come on. And no, let me find the exact it would be worth getting the exact quote or reference or the exact wording of the law. I'm pretty sure I have it somewhere. Oh, where is it? This is the problem when you keep you keep records of so many different bits of law. It tends to get there we go. Found it. Borrowed rifle, borrowed member of the Home Office approved club, miniature rifle. Maybe it's not in this bit, and I've just wasted this all. No, it's not. It's not actually there. Anyway, there's a part of the law that allows somebody, a certificate holder, to nominate a person to transport their firearms for them. And I thought, when would that ever be used? When would you need to nominate someone to like go into your safe? Like, are you allowed to nominate someone to go into your safe and pick up a gun? And is it for circumstances where you're halfway up the M1 to Scotland, and you go, oh bugger, I've forgotten the gun that I'm going to literally need to shoot this competition for with during the weekend, and you phone up your mate and you go, all right, I'm going to nominate you as a transporter. Go and pick, code to the safe is this, and go and pick it up and bring it up. No, a perfect case in point of where you would need to nominate somebody to be in possession of your firearm when they don't have lawful authority in terms of a certificate or RFD was highlighted at the airport. It's literally makes perfect sense now, because what ends up happening is you end up having to hand over the guns to the airport, to the airport staff, to the EasyJet staff. They take it through the special staff security, get all the hand it to the people that are going to put it on the airport. Obviously, they put it on the airplane. They're going to take possession of the guns, and then they come out and hand you all the paperwork and say, yeah, no worries, it's with the right people and it will be on the plane. So there's at least a couple of people there that are going to end up having to take possession of that gun who don't have a certificate, who don't have an RFD. And now this whole being able to transport your firearm, nominated by the certificate holder, makes perfect sense for that scenario. I'm sure there are others, again, I guess with customs, whilst are customs officers, do they have crown exemption? They might do. Are they officers of the crown or servants of the crown? Anyway, ignoring crown exemption, the custom officers, the baggage handlers as well. Baggage handlers are going to hand the guns to the customs officer, and then the custom officer is going to be in possession of it until you come and collect it. So what lawful authority do they have, potentially, apart from crown exemption, to be in possession of it? Well, again, there's this exemption in law. So whilst it does seem incredibly barking mad to have an exemption in law where literally anybody without a certificate can be in possession of a firearm to transport, there are actually areas where it makes a lot of sense. So we all had this moment of clarity in the airport. That's what this batshit sort of crazy law exemption is for, because otherwise, how would that work? You'd need an RFD at the airport, and you need an RFD or a police officer or someone definitely with crown exemption. It would complicate things, like, considerably. Although, again, you are putting a lot of trust in the EasyJet personnel to, oh yeah, we'll take it through. 2 hours later, where do they go? But yeah, very interesting experience. A fantastic little range as well. I'll bring it up on Google Maps. It's a very compact, it's very pistol range. Tenerife. And it's actually my first time ever going to Spain. I know, yes, Tenerife is Spain, but it's not like mainland, proper Spain. But it's my first time entering the country of Spain, and yeah, certainly first time going to Tenerife. And yeah, it was difficult. It was difficult missing the storms this weekend and going from minus temperatures to 20 plus. Again, someone's got to do it. Sue me. So let me bring up. I'm going to struggle to find it now, aren't I? Here it is. This share this tab, make it bigger. So I think pretty much exclusively the videos that I was showing you guys were here at these two. So they've got a big, yeah, they've got some. It's over 2 levels, so they've got some upstairs and downstairs shooting, but it's not the biggest plot of land. Is that a hay bale for scale? Well, there's a car park. You can get a sort of rough idea of scale. So it's not the biggest range in the world, but they managed to fit a lot in it, and a very, very efficiently run, efficiently run match. So one of the things that sometimes happens when we go abroad is you want to go and explore, right? You're in a new place, a new country. Yes, you're there to shoot, but you want to enjoy the trip. And if you're shooting all day, it's okay. You're shooting all day. There's worse things to be doing, but you don't always get enough time to go really explore because of the way this was run and because we were doing AM shooting. We were done by, I think it was like 1 o'clock on the Saturday and done again by like sort of 1 o'clock on the Sunday. So it gave us enough time to actually go and explore the island, go and explore the different places, which was a really nice experience, especially shorts and t-shirts and not the frightfully cold weather that we have back here in the UK. So it was nice to get that sort of balance of shooting abroad, competition, but also exploring somewhere new. And again, I guess that is another reason why I'm just so passionate and love this sport so much. It really has ended up taking me all over the world, and there's so many other people that I've met in the UK. There's a lot of people as well that just won't that don't shoot in the UK, that solely shoot abroad because they're like, well, I can do more out there. They've got handguns, full bore, semi-auto rifles. PC. It was a PCC match as well, and you get a holiday at the same time. It's apart from obviously it being quite expensive to do that regularly. But yeah, it was a fantastic match overall. We all really enjoyed ourselves. Unfortunately, one of the downsides of having a gun that's developed on in terms of new products and trying new things, I had a few issues with my gun that really hurt me and also really hurt Paul. Paul managed to just hold on to third. I'll be honest, I think it would have been a win for him if it hadn't been for we were, I say light strikes, but we were having certainly failures to ignite, which ended up causing some jams. I think probably would have been on the podium if it hadn't been for the gun malfunctions. But we all came away with smiles on our face, and I came away with a lot of very nice, less expensive cigars than they would have been in the UK. Another reason for going abroad if you're into your cigars, considerably cheaper out in Tenerife than they are here. So got my little winter stock up while I was there. Um, we should move the channel. It'll be English smoking soon, or English whiskey. In terms of whiskey, new bourbon. I am going head first into this new exploratory hobby / drinking. Widow Jane 10-year. I have to say, this is potentially the best bourbon I've had yet. It is also the most expensive bottle I've bought that I've opened. I have a Blanton's as well, but I'm waiting for a special occasion for that one. But yes, absolutely love. Can highly recommend the Widow Jane 10. Got it from with the like big whiskey place. Helpful, I know. What is it called? I want to say like the whiskey store. That might even be it. But yeah, it is available in the UK and not horrendously expensive. But yeah, as I said, I do have a couple of things that I do want to touch on in terms of news. I did have a little bit of a scan to see if there was, anything to, sort of noteworthy, but there wasn't. And literally, my full time at the moment is sort of focused, apart from buggering off to Tenerife for a weekend. But my full time is pretty much set on the AGM because it's different this year because not only am I running and I need to, think about what I would do in 2024 and how to portray that to the members, but I'm also still in the position and there's still quite a lot to get done. So, there's having to juggle both of those. But anyway, let's have a look what you guys are saying. I hope you don't mind a little bit more of an ad hoc live stream this evening, a little bit more of a chilled run. Yes, Frank O'Grady, thank you for reminding me and Heppy. We can have knives. How about that? We can have knives. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's really not worth me explaining. It was just particularly funny for me. and it now needs to be remembered every single time we have a live stream. Uh, in terms of growing the sport, David Kiddle, KFC, no, not Kentucky Fried Chicken, Kentucky Firearms Club, which is one of my, well, it's my main club, and it's been my main club pretty much since I've joined back in 2016, is when I joined. Member number 42, and I believe there's something like over 400 members now. They've got a new Noobs Day next month, 40 plus going. I might actually, we're having quotes for a bathroom at the moment, and we got talking. God, I'm going everywhere. Let's just fit, there's a let's not say noobs, let's say an open day, open to anybody that may want to try shooting for the first time. So if you are interested, I would either hit up Kentucky Firearms Club on Facebook. Where's, put some more details in, David. How can people sign up if they want to go on the open day? But we're having quotes for a bathroom the other day, and the guy's in here taking measurements, and we're small talking, and he's like, "So, what do you do?" And I'm like, "Oh, this is always interesting. It's always interesting gauging people's reactions and how quickly they want to either run, or how interested they are in shooting." So, I said predominantly, my main day to day is designing, manufacturing, and retailing practical shooting equipment. And he stopped. He's like mid measure, retracts the tape measure, and turns. And I'm going, oh, here we go. Like, he's gonna be an anti, or like, he's got a family member that has a bad experience with a gun, or he's had a bad experience with a gun. And it was, I love shooting. Like, well, that's a good start. He's like, I love shooting. Used to do it in the cadets. I've been clay pigeon shooting a few times. I've uh, I've tried to get into the sport previously, but I just find it so complex and can't really find anywhere to start up shooting, and I really don't know how to get into it. Would you know anybody that could help? I might. And then basically turned into a half an hour uh, a half an hour English shooting video, where I ended up telling him all the ins and outs of how to get in, where to start. So that's what reminded me, is I will tell him that there is a KFC open day, because he's very, very interested in getting back into the sport. And again, this is I'm driven to continue doing what I can to promote and widen the horizons of this sport, because there's somebody comes around my house to quote for a kitchen, and it's like, after literally like a 20-minute conversation, it's like, yeah, you can do, and I'm pulling up videos. Yeah, you can do this, you can do this. These are the sort of stuff you can own. Sign me up. Like, literally, how do I do this? Yeah, just EnglishShooting.org. Guides and help. Pretty much everything you're going to need to be able to get your firearm certificate. So yeah, the people are out there like have no clue. I think it's why I was so driven to do the try shoot at the Northern Shooting Show. Although doing a try shoot a shooting show isn't necessarily going to reach people that aren't aware of shooting, because you don't sort of accidentally wander into a shooting show without knowing that there's firearms ownership. But practical shooting, even within the wider shooting community, is still not as widely known as I think it should be. And I think there's a lot of people from other disciplines that would easily come over if they really understood what it was about, and what we do, and how bloody addictive it is. So yeah, starting in our pool first, and then maybe expanding outside of the shooting community long term. So yes, we may have another um, guest to attend the KFC guest day. Do they still do a Zinger Tower burger? I am disappointed, David, that in my 8 years of membership, we have never had a KFC day. Like, there is an obvious overlap there to go and get various buckets and have them as range snacks. But I don't know why this hasn't been done. We need to have a KFC day. Frank O'Grady, seen somebody is after Callum's position. Again, if people are out there and they feel that they can add more to the sport and they feel they can do a better job within this position, I highly disagree that the other people going for the role can do a better job. I think they've both, in their own ways, demonstrated it. But that's, I'm still supportive if they think there's something to offer. Then they can run. It's and don't get me wrong, unlike at least one of the other candidates, I will not throw my toys out of the pram if the membership want to elect somebody else. It's a democracy. It's the AGM, the elected position. They are elected. If the membership doesn't want somebody or they want somebody else more, that's up to the membership. And if I end up with a bit more free time, I end up with a bit more free time, and we will see how good or bad a potential change could be. I'm obviously under the belief that still a lot for me to be able to do and improve the association with, and that yes, there's various concerns of others that only really they only seem to be a concern within the shooting community because nobody outside of it seems to really care. But anyway, I have a very interesting history, and if people don't think that's appropriate, then people don't think it's appropriate. Like, whatever. But I've done the role for a year now, and the house is still here. House, not this actual house, the house of the UKPSA. So it can't exactly be the worst at doing the job. And there's been a lot of change and a lot of progression and modernization, and things that haven't been done before, and positive impact that I feel I've had. So after having a year under my belt, I feel pretty I feel up to speed now. And there was quite a big learning curve and getting to grips with so many different elements. Of course, it's not just the treasurer role; it's being a trustee as well. So, there's various other aspects to doing that, and it can be a lot to grasp. And been doing it for a year, and I think I feel I've got a good grasp with it. And I feel it would be a shame at this point. You know, there's a lot more that I want to get done. Getting it cut short, I believe getting cut short. It's not something that I will want to do forever, but certainly I think there's a hell of a lot that can be achieved in the next year still in post. But again, it's up to the members. It's up to me to convince the members that I'll be the best person and the right person for the job, and it's up to the members to decide that ultimately. Callum has done more for the sport than any other YouTuber. Fact. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily go that far. I appreciate it. I do appreciate it. Thank you. Um, but yeah, like there's a lot of, I mean, Rack and Load, SRS Power. I know he doesn't do any videos anymore. The Gun Shop, TSG Outdoors, TGS Outdoors. I always get it, always get it wrong. TGS Outdoors. They, I would say even people like Demolition Ranch and Hickok 45 and Iraq Veteran 8888. It's not just shooters and firearm enthusiasts that watch those videos. Certainly not with Demolition Ranch. It's a very, very mainstream sort of channel. You don't have to be a gun person to get into it. How many people are they attracting into firearms ownership? How many people are they attracting into shooting sports? I think I would be happy with saying I don't think there's anybody else that's necessarily done as much to explain the processes of firearms ownership in the UK on YouTube. That's something that I do take quite great pride in, and why I did it in the first place, because there literally wasn't any information out there, and it's like I can literally press record on my phone and put that information. But yeah, appreciate it, Frank. Toolman Mike, evening Callum. What do you think of the army heads call to train a civilian army, and how do you think that army would end up looking? Do you think UK could handle Switzerland-like at-home rifles? That is a very interesting question. I really thought that was gonna go somewhere else. But that is actually a very, very interesting question, and I might be teaching you to suck eggs here. I might be teaching a lot of you guys to suck eggs here. Um, uh, I just need to get something up. Um, why isn't that freely available? Um, I will answer the question. Um, I was going to go for the NRA, but the NSRA seems to provide it easier. No, they don't. Um, I'm trying to find either the NRA or the NSRA's constitution. I can find specimen constitutions. Code and guidance. Constitutions. Come on. Come on, NSRA. Specimen Club Constitution. No, I want to see the NRA, the NSRA's constitution. Reference organization. Committees, organizational change, general report, overview. It's just I want to get the wording right of this. Where they're hiding it at this point, aren't they? They know I'm looking for it. Competition membership. Oh, fucking. Let's try it a different way. Memorandum. Here we go. So, maybe it is a widely known fact at this point, but and something that I always find interesting, the Small Bore Rifle Association. So this is like the main purpose and well, the memorandum of the NSRA, which is one of the longest standing associations out there. So this is in as amended 17th of January 1964. This has been a very long standing document. The objectives for which the society is established are to fit Her Majesty's subjects for the defence of her realm. They probably need to change this now. By the advancement of skill in rifle and other shooting, by provision of skilled instructions and opportunity to practice, and for the furtherance of such objectives, to exercise lawfully all or any of the following powers, but so far only as the same are wholly and exclusively charitable. To promote the establishment and maintenance of rifle and pistol clubs, to furnish up clubs on such terms may be mutually agreed with ammunition, rifles, pistols, and apparatus for grants and all of that. But it's this, and this is still, I believe, this is still in the NRA's sort of constitution or memorandum, to fit Her Majesty's subjects for the defence of her realm by the advancements of skills in rifle. So, in terms of your question about the army's head called to train a civilian army, it's quite literally why the National Rifle Association of the UK exists. It's why the National Small Bore Rifle Association of the UK exists. It's why we have the miniature rifle range exemption. It was brought in, and the formation of the National Small Bore Rifle Association was it was formed, and the exemption brought in after the Boer War. Again, if Black Guinea Pig is on here, he is going to know this sort of stuff far better than I. But basically, we went to war. We got a load of people together, and we got our asses absolutely handed to us. And the government at the time went, well, hang on a minute. we sort of need a proficient pool of civilians that we can pull from if we need to go and fight a war. If we need to conscribe people into an army, into going fighting, we need a at least minimum standard of skill at arms, basically. So the NRA was, I can't remember the exact history of how the NRA was formed, but I believe it was a um, very similar premise where basically we were getting our asses handed to us. We needed to maintain a national minimum level of skill at arms, and the NSRA was formed as well. I think specifically after the Boer War. So we sort of actually already have this, and if anything, these current calls for civilian armies and Switzerland like at home rifles. Now that I don't think we're going to we're going to get into. What we have to remember is that we are an island. Switzerland is not. Switzerland was very much in the middle of a lot of bad stuff going back in history, and it was quite for Switzerland. There's quite a high likelihood that an army is just going to come walking through their country. In the UK, in Great Britain, that's not so likely. Um, it's because we've got the body of water, because we have the Royal Navy, we have the Royal Air Force. It's very unlikely that we would ever get into a on our own soil sort of man versus man on the boots on the ground sort of war here. Um, to be honest, if it gets to that point, it's like we've probably already lost. But um, I'm not going to get into the discussion of which force is better. Um, or that's very dangerous territory. You can end up pissing a lot of people off very, very quickly. But obviously, I think what they are preparing for and what they need, and why we have the NRA and why we have the NSRA, is that if we do need to go and send people abroad, it's much easier to train somebody. Shooting sports and military combat are two completely different, separate things. Um, but it's certainly a lot easier to train somebody in combat with a firearm that already has shooting experience. It's just there's one less hurdle you got to get over. If somebody knows how to line up some sites and knows how to maintain and function safely a firearm, then teaching them the art of war and combat is they don't have to start right from the beginning. It's like, how to use the equipment. We're now going to show you how not how you're going to use the equipment, but how that equipment is used in these scenarios. So yeah, if anything, in a weird way, and it's obviously we're in a very interesting time at the moment. Lots of very, I think, concerning and worrying things are being said from some very, very serious high up people. But if we can take some silver lining from it, stuff like that is reinforcing the need and the purpose of the NSRA, of the NRA, of the UKPSA. Now, the UKPSA's constitution is slightly different. It's not exactly like the NRA or the NSRA's. Let me just bring that up for you guys. So objectives, share this tab. United Kingdom Practical Shooting Association Constitution. The name of the association shall be the United Kingdom Practical Shooting Association, hereinafter referred to as the association. Objectives. The objectives of the association shall be the advancement of amateur sports of practical shooting and dynamic marksmanship for the public benefit by promoting public participation, practice, and development in the sport, and the provision of instruction in the sport, including the safe use of firearms. 2, to encourage skill in practical shooting by providing instruction and practice in the use of firearms amongst her Majesty's subjects so that they will be better fitted to serve their country in the Armed Forces Reserve, or any other organisation in which their services may be required in the defence of the realm. So it's slightly different to the NSRA, but it pretty much says the same thing. This defense of the realm. You need to be proficient with a rifle. You know, the NSRA is all about rifle and skilled instruction and opportunity to practice. You know, this is no, you need to, you know, be skilled in practical shooting. By providing instruction and practice. It does have that there. In the use of firearms amongst Her Majesty's service, so that will be better fitted to serve their country in the armed forces. So again, this is why these associations. Okay, that is number two, whereas you know the NSRA it's number one, and I believe the NRA it's number one. The you know the first one is obviously the amateur sport aspect of it, but defense of the realm plays in the constitutions and memorandums of our national governing bodies for shooting sports. It's very much at the root of why these associations exist, and I think a lot of people forget this, and I do somewhat find it humorous, you know, about all this, you know, let's not talk about self-defense and all of the issues that I've had in talking about self-defense. And quite literally, the NSRA, NRA, and UKPSA's main purpose is defense of the realm. Defending your realm, I don't think there's potentially any greater form of self-defense. You know, that is probably at the highest level, and that is the root of our associations. So how do I think that will end up looking? I think it will very much end up looking like people will be encouraged to join the NRA, join the NSRA, join the UKPSA, and get involved in shooting. You know, I don't think necessarily we're going to see it, but if it was going to happen, if you know conscription started tomorrow and we were having to send people out to all parts of the world, I can see Bisley becoming a training camp again. You know, having you know public training sessions of for conscription. I can see the UKPSA having to commandeer ranges to put on sessions. Like that's how it would look like. That's how it's happened before. That's what birthed these organizations and you know effectively birthed Bisley. Anyway, Frank O'Grady, as a vet, I wouldn't like to fight next to a pressed individual I'd rather fight next to a volunteer. My opinion. Yeah, to be honest, I wouldn't like to fight out in a war all the time that Hampshire won't give me my firearms certificate back. That would be irony to a T. No, we don't want to give you your certificates, but we want you to go fight for us. It's like, well, hang on a minute. Now you want me. I agree. They've especially discounted any use of conscription, so it looks like it would still be something people would sign up for. I'm sure the numbers to sign up would be equal. Isn't your man that said that getting hooned out of his position replacement already in line? What? I don't know what you mean about that, Quickie. Isn't your man that said that getting hooned out of his position replacement already in line? If you're talking about the guy that launched a personal attack, he doesn't actually hold any position at the moment, so I don't know what exactly he's going to be hooned out of. Enjoyed watching the videos, would love to try it, but with having a leg disability, I don't think I'd be able to manage it. To be honest, this is one of the things that I think I do no favors in sort of helping. But yeah, like, you know, I like to put out the videos where, you know, you're running about and it's very fast paced. There are people that quite literally walk around a stage, right? There are a lot of people that I would say probably 40 to 50% of people that attend a match, like go into it with the mindset of, well, I'm not going to win. Like, I'm here to have fun. I'm here to shoot my guns, put some holes in some paper and have some fun and a bit of banter on the range. So, you know, even having a leg disability and bearing in mind, they will make provisions in a stage. I mean, there was a guy out in Serbia, the European Handgun Championships in Serbia, that had one hand. Right, he was missing an arm, and it was phenomenal to watch him shoot. Now, I did feel a little bit sorry for him because in that competition there was a weak hand only stage, and I'm thinking, don't really know how that's going to work for him. But there will be provisions made within. I'm pretty sure within IPSC, within the rules, you are allowed to effectively agree or negotiate sort of penalty for not doing something if you're not physically capable of doing it. So there are provisions made, and you can request boxes to be put on the stage so that you can reach into apertures. That's more for our younger, maybe smaller competitors. Yes, Daniel, I know. Oh, Callum's box. Um, I do tend to be one of the shorter ones on the stage, but it makes me perfectly suited for a Cooper tunnel. So, which Daniel would know everything about. Uh, so yeah, if even if you need a crutch to do it, and it's going to take you a bit of time, you even need an RO to help you. Well, technically, it's like coaching and getting involved. Anyway, I I would not be worried if you're putting yourself um out of contention to go and shoot a match because you think you might be a bit slow because you might not be able to do the whole of the stage. Don't. Even if you rock up, the match at the weekend was 14 stages. Even if there's two or three stages that you can't do, like there's still a lot more shooting, and a lot of the shooting that we were doing was static. The smaller stages were quite static, so you don't need to run around like absolutely rapidly. Yeah, if your main thing is like I'm only going to do something if I'm going to win, yeah, you're not going to win. You're walking around, but you know there's people out there with quite major disabilities still taking part in this sport, and they're not letting it stop them. So don't let it stop you. Daniel, question: how do we vote at the AGM this Sunday? I need the UKPSA comms officer, because that is all currently down to Arian. There will be a we will either be using a bit. I believe there is a bit of software that is built into um, Google Meets that we'll be able to use, but there is already identified a separate bit of software that we can use in tandem. So you will be able to vote at the AGM. Further details, I guess, it will either be explained before or explained then. If everybody that's you know everyone's that there is there will want to vote, so explain it to everybody that's there. It's yeah, Arian is working on that. SZS, hello mate, long time watcher. Thank you very much. Question: do you know of any clubs to get started shooting / hunting in the northeast? I've heard secondhand it's quite hard up here. Northeast, do you have a specific area? Have you said about a specific area? Let me just northeast. Let's see exactly what sort of area. It does depend pretty much where you are. I know that's a very obvious thing to say. How far away are you from Grimsby? Northeast. I'm just actually trying to find Grimsby on a map. Oh, it might be quite far away. It really depends. The one off the top of my head is going to be no, that's Scotland. Yeah, northeast. Why isn't it showing me the area? Your best bet is probably going to be Grimsby. So Grimsby actually has a pretty amazing club. It's the North Coast Butts. They are Home Office approved. They've got multiple discipline. You can do full bore long distance rifle there, clay pigeon shooting, practical shooting. They don't hold any mini rifle matches, but I believe there are ranges that you could do a mini rifle stayed or mini rifle practice on. You can shoot slug there, gallery there, air rifles. It's a massive club and there's loads of facilities there. So if you're not too far away from Grimsby, check out Northcote Butts. There is also another club in the sort of Hull area, or just outside Hull, called Tall Trees. Tall Trees Club. It's probably worth. Oh no, is it Tall Trees? Yeah, there's Tall Trees, and then I think also it's around the Gaul area because that's where I ended up staying, but I can't exactly remember where it is. There's so it's just outside. You're nearer Leeds and York. There is Derwent Valley. Now they are a clay pigeon club, but they've just started doing a lot of practical. I went and shot a level 1 IPSC match, shotgun match there. They're doing some PRS as well. So Derwent Valley, Tall Trees, and Northcote Butts are probably your best bet in that area. I don't know how close you are going to be to any of them, but those are the only ones off the top of my head that I can remember. Draven, I get my cigars from Spain when I go there. Yeah, highly recommend. I ended up majorly overstocking. I've been wanting to try Arturo Fuente for a very long time because everybody raves about them and say that they don't make a bad cigar. And I ended up getting an Eye of the Shark from Selfridges, which was horrendously expensive, but they literally only had 3, and that was the only Arturo Fuente they had. I haven't quite brought myself to smoke it because of how ridiculously expensive it was. Again, that's going to be a special occasion one. And I did manage to get a selection of I think I got 6 the other day, and I can't remember where I've put them. It was a Don Carlos, which I know everyone raves about. But anyway, ended up going out to Spain, and it was the 44 Magnum. 54 Magnum. It's a shooting channel, and go to it's the Arturo Fuente. It's like the Reserva 54 Magnum, and probably one of the best cigars that I've had. Unfortunately, Connors was being incredibly sensible, and he's like, "I'm not going to drink and smoke before a match," and I'm like, "Suit yourself, mate." we found a tap room as well, which Paul and I weren't being sensible to indulge ourselves with, and I had a cigar, and I ended up going back to that cigar shop. Literally, it was on the way out from Santa Cruz. So we bought 2 on the first night. I'm trying to remember what other Arturo Fuente I bought from the other cigar shop. Anyway, bought 2 on the first night, smoked 1, loved it. Didn't get back in time on Saturday because they closed early, annoyingly. They weren't open Sunday. So I was waiting outside of the shop on Monday morning for them to open so that we could then jump in the car and go to the airport. Yes, I risked us missing a flight for cigars. I'd do it again. As it turned out, we had plenty of time. It was not it was not a problem. But yeah, I ended up grabbing like 6 or 8 of these 44 Magnums. They were so good. I think it's the 40. Toro Fuente 54 Magnum. Yeah, Arturo Fuente Rosado Magnum R, or is it the Magnum R 54? It's a 54 gauge anyway. Good smoke, highly recommend. Kirsty Callum, KFC got a membership application by someone this week who mentioned you. Must be the guy you're talking about. Awesome. I do tend to recommend and point a lot of people to KFC, but he was one of, because you said like, where can I go in this area? And I said, well, Kentucky Firearms Club. It's my club. You can go and join. KFC is open for membership. All practical home and abroad good good club guns exec. Absolutely. Um, yeah, I would say that certainly if you're into your practical, the selection of guns for KFC is pretty much second to none. Will you be going to the British Shooting Show near Birmingham? Yes. I did genuinely consider with everything that's going on at the moment, like missing it for the year, but then I had that thought for maybe like a few seconds, and it was like I can't not go. I don't know necessarily if I'll film anything there. Um, it to be honest, it's nothing to do with the British Shooting Show. For me, the British Shooting Show, Northern Shooting Show, even like IWA, is like, yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff, but I just end up finding that I don't enjoy it myself. Like again, I'm in this sport to enjoy it, and the Northern Shooting Show, there'll be the try shoot stand, so that will be taking up my time, and um, British Shooting Show, I just sort of want to go enjoy. So I might just go and do it for a day and just go and walk around, because otherwise I end up losing an entire weekend. But yeah, I don't think I could live with myself if I missed it without a very good reason. Solid snack. I think it would be funnier to have Popeyes as food. Andy asked if the mags will be there with him. What mags? uh, on the Facebook, or do you mean the group? Um, that is probably too long for me to read on stream, but I think I've got the general gist. Yeah, I mean, I've have a lot of time for Clive. I've done a lot with him. I worked with him this year on the insurance for the association, and he gets about. He does all the different disciplines. Very sort of no nonsense guy, but equally I get on well with Mark as well. He's also running. Obviously, a lot of the industry experience. It's a difficult one. There's certainly last year there were, um, you know, not necessarily difficult decisions, but there were multiple people that could be fit for the role. Um, Obviously for this year, I think there should be no one voted in other than myself for treasurer. PRO is uncontested at the moment, but that does allow people to stand from the floor. But that's currently Mike Brooks, again known Mike for a fair long time. Had a number of conversations with him, with secretary. It's a difficult one. Secretary. It's a lady called Wendy Thomas, and this guy. You might have heard of him, Konstantin Christofi. Yeah, it's a tricky one between the two of them for me. Wendy's got a lot going for herself. RO, experienced and all of that, and Connors also runs this little company called Magload, and is the current training chair and pretty much does all the functions of a secretary already. So, it's yeah, it's a tricky one, but I'd probably lean towards Connors on that one, obviously. So yeah, I mean, myself for treasurer, Mike Brooks for PRO, uncontested. Of course, like Connors has my absolute full backing for secretary. He wants, again, he's at the point where he wants to get more involved and thinks that there's a lot that he can offer the association, and basically what he ends up doing as the training, the chair of training, or UTC, or UTC chair, I think is the official title. He realizes it's keeping minutes, it's sending out those minutes, a lot of admin in terms of the safety courses, in terms of the competition licenses, and he's like, well, it's just that, but for general counsel, and a bit more in terms of the charity commission. But I've been involved in that over the past year, so I'm fairly clued up on what to do and what not to do. So yeah, I think he would do a fantastic job in that role. RD, I know Kevin Strowger's running again for RD. To be honest, what Richard has achieved this year, he's not someone to blow his own trumpet. He's really not. But what he has achieved this year is nothing short of phenomenal. Phenomenal. It's incredible what he's been able to achieve, and I've seen firsthand how he's been pivotal and instrumental in cementing the UKPSA as a national governing body. And not only we are now at the highest levels within these working groups, um, known as the authority on practical shooting. Um, I know there's this whole thing of other organizations and all that. No, College of Policing, Felwig, Chief of Police, ACPO, I think it is, BSSC, like all of the big major working groups, be that with the police, firearms licensing, British Shooting Sports Council. He's attended, like, he I've told him he needs to publish this list, but he sent it around council of this list of meetings that he's had this year and the outcomes. He's now like the lead in terms of shotgun. He's now the the lead in terms of target shotgun in basically he's heading up the response to the lead ban on behalf of target shooting with shotguns. He's already in discussions with various people in making quite important changes to our law. So he's been doing a phenomenal job on that front in terms of protecting the sport, establishing the UKPSA and cementing the UKPSA. And he's still done all the let's say traditional RD roles in terms of attending general assemblies and meetings and working with IPSC and approving individuals to compete abroad and just representing the club. And I think it would be a massive shame, for what he's done in the year that he's been in that role. It'd be a massive shame. And Kev has done great things in his time, but he was RD for 10 years. I think we need to move forward. We need, Richard is really doing great things. It would just be a shame to sort of cut him off. Like, I just think if you've had 10 years in a role, like you've had your time to make the changes and put in that positivity. We need fresh new ideas and a new way of looking things, and that's been incredibly beneficial so far. So Richard would have my full support. And chairman, it's generally a difficult one. I would say I probably know Clive a little bit better, and overall Clive is, I would say, a more well-rounded individual when it comes to practical shooting. From the disciplines that he does, he literally does every single discipline. He is an instructor. He was instrumental in getting NHTSA for us. So he's already done a lot. He's already been quite a big part of the association in various different roles, which I think gives him a lot of experience to do the chairman. Again, Mark Derbyshire, previous CEO of Ely. So in terms of industry experience, I don't think it really gets much better than that. And he's been instrumental in growing Yevely from the ground up. So there's a huge wealth of experience there in terms of growing a club and running a company as big as Ely. That's Ely Ammunition, not Ely Hawk, the 2.2 manufacturer. So it's difficult on the two. I don't think it would necessarily be the association will be any worse off with either Mark or Clive. I think you have to look at both of their proposals really and make your own decision. I think there are certain strengths that both of them offer, and there can be potential weaknesses that both of them can offer. So yeah, I can't say I'm necessarily completely decided on that one. But yeah, for me, all the other positions, Mike Brook, I would have no problem supporting him. But it sounds like he's sort of just going to walk into it. Richard Clifton for RD, Connors, Konstantin Christofi is his full name, for secretary, myself as treasurer. Have I forgotten anybody else? PRO, treasurer, secretary, RD, and chairperson. Anyway, I will read, but perhaps my mind may be swayed either way when I read Clive's proposal and statement later. Does the NRA have royal charter? I believe it does, because there's that picture of, like, literally on the English shooting page, that of the Queen pulling the trigger down on Sentry, I think it was. You all are going to have World War III in your backyard soon. Do you think UK politicians will change their views on citizens' guns rights? I don't know. Again, I think it will be very ironic if they, spend all these years, strict gun controls, and people, it's, you need a reason and all this tight and strictest laws in the world, and then suddenly they start handing them out like Skittles. No, everyone needs guns. Everyone needs guns. It's like, well, make your mind up. You know, again, this whole thing. I think a lot of people look back at the previous wars that we've had, and warfare has developed significantly. It's I love I think it's the Einstein quote. I think it was Einstein that said it. I don't know what World War no, I don't know what World War III will be fought with, but I know World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones, or it's something along those lines. I would say we're in an information war. Like, yeah, there's a lot of physical fighting going on, and a lot of people losing their lives, unfortunately. But there's a massive war going on online. Look at US presidential elections and the known interference that has taken place in that from overseas influences, and the propaganda that TikTok. I'm sure a lot of you don't go anywhere near TikTok, but someone that embraces social media as much as I do, it's I've got to keep tabs on all the latest and greatest, and TikTok is scary, really scary, in how it locks on to your habits and your thoughts and your way of thinking, and it will find some area and just bombard that one point, and it's this almost like confirmation bias. I've seen it firsthand. You're going, like, this isn't just fun and game videos. This isn't just cats doing silly things. This is hardcore propaganda that I'm watching here. And I just think certainly younger individuals, or individuals that don't have the maybe whereabouts, or aren't as maybe suspicious or untrusting as I, or probably a lot of you guys are, how people can get sucked into that, and from all sides, from all ways of leaning. It just creates a sort of hive mind mentality, and then encourages people to do some very extreme things. So yeah, I think, is it about having a rifle in every home and fighting them on our shores? I don't think that's, if we are heading towards another world war, I don't think that's how it's going to be fought. It's going to be in the skies, in the seas, in the ether, rather than necessarily. But there will always be an element of boots on grounds, but it will not be to the same level that we've seen. Does Daniel have an aversion to Cooper tunnels? Come on, you can drive a Ford KA through one without hitting the top. And yet Daniel still manages with his big booty to to knock them down. I have to lay through. There's actually a funny clip somewhere of literally Daniel getting stuck in a Cooper tunnel. Unfortunately, I don't have it to hand. Otherwise, I would be showing it. Uh, we need to promote FAC to every living Englishman and woman. It's more than just a sport regarding the range's constitution. Link it to the English constitution. Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely. My dump truck still causes problem. Daniel's Cooper tunnels, quick fix, get some knee pads and walk like a munchkin. See, this is the thing about me being, me being short. When it came to the European Handgun Championships, and there was a stage with 2 Cooper tunnels, one going downrange and one to side, I was fine. Didn't even have to think. All I had to think about was the muzzle. That's all I was concerned about. Like, I don't think I've in all the competitions I've done, I don't think I've ever clipped a Cooper tunnel. It's not something that I struggle with. Put Connors in a. It is Connors, by the way. Connors. Conners. Put Connors in a French-made outfit and watch the votes roll in. This can be arranged. This could be arranged. Absolutely. We're deliberating whether we should be doing the holding or watching or being a part of the AGM, smoking cigars and drinking bourbon in the unit. You know, why not? If they're going to hold it virtually, then it opens us up to attend in any way we see fit. And then I remember that, oh yes, I am still a trustee and part of exec, and yeah, probably bourbon before the AGM. I mean, it would be interesting. It would be funny. But my tongue biting abilities would be drastically reduced, which again, for entertainment value. Yeah, that's you can't say short anymore. The PC term is manlit. Oh dear. Also I can never Quai de Soro number 50 Dorsey again. English, I struggle enough with English, never mind other languages. If you like a typically tight Cuban, or its bigger brother number 54 if you prefer a looser draw. To be honest, I'm not a huge fan of Cubans. I absolutely love H. Upman. Haven't had a bad H. Upman yet, but the Romeo and Julieta that I had the other day, I think it might have been a short Churchill. I wasn't overly impressed. I get so much sort of leather and earth from Cubans, and I know a lot of people like that's the dream flavor, but I prefer. I think I generally prefer like the New World cigars in the sort of coffee and chocolate, sweet, like sort of nutty flavors that I tend to get a lot more from the New Worlds. And like the reason I really like the Arturo Fuente, the 54 or Magnum R or Magnum 54, whatever it's called, it had just that little bit of Cuban in it, but with the sort of New World flavor that I really like. One of my favorites overall are Drew Estate. Apart from the shade, the undercrown shade, which I wasn't particularly impressed with. The tobacs are absolutely incredible. How that is natural, I don't know. The Liga Privada number 9s, absolutely love that. That's one of my favorites. Probably one of my favorites, if not the favorite cigar, is the all decked out Drew Estate undercrown. That thing's phenomenal. It's somewhere between a tobac and like a Liga Privada number 9. Just the sweetness and flavor from that is incredible. And I did get, I couldn't resist, even though it was like 100 quid for three cigars. There was like a anniversario recently released outside of the UK. You can only get it outside of the US. I haven't yet had one of those. It's a sorry guys, anyone that doesn't give a toss about cigars, but um, I'm not even going to begin to try and pronounce this. Oh, that was. I've just reminded myself how fucking expensive these were. Um, oh, well, in terms of how cigars go, it's not that expensive, and I did buy them for a very particular special occasion, which I am saving them for. But just look at them; they look gorgeous. Let me find a better. Um, Let me bring that up. Share this one instead. Share this tab. It's got the pigtail. Oh, let's make it a little bit bigger. It's got the pigtail and the rough foot, and yeah, it just the construction of these just look absolutely perfect. That is a lot cheaper than what I paid per cigar. Interesting. I might be back on this site later. Yeah, Juristate Liga Provider number 9. Selection de Mercado. Mercado. Anyway, that's enough about cigars. I've got a few of those waiting for a very special occasion. But yeah, I like the H. Upmans. That's the only really Cuban that I've really enjoyed. But I tried a Siglio Cohiba Siglio 1, just absolute pepper bomb. I think that was little maybe too early in my cigar journey, so I'm going to try another Cohiba at another time. I do have a very nice Trinidad, courtesy of Daniel, that I haven't yet tried. And I haven't tried a Trinidad yet. What other Cubans have I done? Vigueras. They're okay. I started off really liking them, and then it's just earthy and leather and not particularly good. Overall, maybe a bit more age on them, and they would be better. What others? Do I think I've had any more Cubans? Oh, I had a it was literally the last one I had, I think. Yes, I'm sad. Partagas. Actually, very impressed with the Partagas. Yeah, I was pretty impressed with that. What other Cubans? Oh, I had a punch. Think I prefer H. Upman over punch. Yes, I think that's probably it. And the Romeo and Julieta. I tend to have a lot more New Worlds, and I don't think it's necessarily down to price or availability. Just generally taste. Anyway, sorry. Did you try the Davidoffs I gave you? Not yet. The Yamahara, is it Yamara? I literally can't remember what it's called, but you know what it is. No, again, I'm saving one of those for when you come down, mate. I'm not short of smokes. I do have a habit of buying them faster than I can smoke them. I think there's a major agenda going on, but I won't get into it. The Romeos are as smooth as they come. Yeah, yeah, I can't say it's necessarily they're bad. I just think there's more flavour in others. Has anything piqued your interest at SHOT Show? To be honest, no. I haven't. Maybe that's what I should have made the stream about. It is like the largest bloody shooting event in the world. There was one thing that I saw come out. All 4 shooters. Let's have a quick look at all 4 shooters and see what's coming out. I did have a little bit of a. I saw somebody posting about a few years ago. I'll make myself bigger again. A few years ago, there was like a manual slide to adjust a magnification ring, and I've seen that somebody now has it with a button. It's all electronic, which I think is pretty cool, but I don't see a use. There's a big use in competition, but I wouldn't trust it. Well, first of all, I use a one times red dot for my competition setup, so I don't really need to adjust a magnification ring. But even if I was, all it takes, you're just adding another point of failure, more weight. I don't. It's really cool, really handy, and obviously keeps you on the rifle. But to be honest, the majorities of times that I've seen people adjust magnification, they've just it's on the move, so you're not actually saving any time. Anyway, let's have a quick look through of highlights of SHOT Show. Day one, Hera, bolt action rifles. Again, I'm not going to spend too much. Keltec. Oh, new Keltec. That looks funky. That looks very UK legal. Well, apart from it being a submachine gun or semi. I mean, if they were to make a straight pull one, that could be very UK legal. That's what I meant to say. New era of technical rifle scopes. Very interesting. Thermal imaging monocular. Not huge into my night vision, if I'm going to say. Smith & Wesson model 1854 and 44 Magnum. The manufacturers, that's pretty big. Smith & Wesson's first lever action rifle. I quite like it. Ooh, I do quite like it. That is quite nice. Yeah, sort of this polymer stainless. I'm sure there's going to be other models. Of course, that would be UK legal, so that's something that we may see here in the UK. Benelli AI advanced impact technology for Ethos performance shop shotguns. That's an interesting. No, that is Benelli. It's not Tony Systems. Yeah, I don't know why you'd necessarily have that large on a clay gun. The semi-automatic from the Ethos Performance Shop series with AI technology, advanced impact, represents a patented system consisting of shotgun barrel and choke. For this purpose, the internal profile of the shotgun barrels was completely redesigned. So that's a new set of chokes everyone's going to have to go and buy. The inner diameter increased between chokes. The available internal. All these changes ensure that shot fired from guns equipped with the AI system is always faster than shot fired from conventional barrel choke combinations. I mean, pattern is still incredibly important for practical shooting. So be interesting to see what sort of practical difference that makes. Browning X-Bolt 2 bolt action rifle series. I know the X-Bolt is still incredibly popular here. Fair Cara 1, the sporty over and under shotgun with modern technology. To be honest, it looks exactly like all the other over and unders. But anyway, this Frenchy USA presents the Affinity 3 Sport Trap. Lots of new shotguns. That's it. But there is another page. Let's have a look at day 2. So that was day 1 highlights from All for Shooters. Yes, yeah. If they could make that one UK legal, I would. Yeah, sign me up. So our pistol, something we can't have. But it's a 10mm entry into the 10mm pistol market. There seems to be a growing fascination around 10mm. Fauzi. Actually, it's cool, sort of interesting. Obviously, them getting attention out in SHOT Show because they're usually there at Northern Shooting Show, Game Fairs, British Shooting Show. So it's one that you do see quite often represented in the UK. XTM3 magnifier, a compact magnification scope attachment from Sightmark. Interesting. Show STP pistols. Again, something else we can't own. Laser ammo, short strike mag, uninterrupted laser training. Ooh. A significant further development in laser training systems. Laser ammo, one of the pioneers in the sector, introduced a short strike mag, a complete training system, a complete training magazine, optionally initially for all Glock 17, 18, 9mm pistols or the SIG P320 with either an invisible infrared laser or visible red laser short instead of a normal Xen, and offers the authentic feel and sound of the striker released during dry fire training. So far, so familiar. Until now, you had to rack the slide after every dry shot to recock the striker. This is no longer necessary. While both hands remain in the firing position, you do not lose sight of the target. So it reads. So it's like the Mantis Blackbeard, basically, for handguns. That's pretty cool. Or CRKT knives. Locking though, that is very nice. I think that would be UK legal. That might be automatic folding knife. Like, is assisted folding legal? And that's it. That's all it for day 2. So yeah, again, so far not anything sort of jumping out, or some new bits here and there, but I will keep an eye out, and potentially I'll make next week's stream about SHOT Show, or how certain organisations are corrupt. If depending on what happens, you can't moan about something if you don't vote. Proceeds to not vote and moan about it for the entirety of the year. Anyway, I'm surprised that we haven't had a Wild American on the stream and the streams in a while. They're out there. Keltec has an MP7 clone kit for their 22 WMR. We get in the UK. Awesome. Aero has a lever action now. Pretty cool. Peter Rose, EnglishShooting, I'm going for a ride through Ireland in June. I fancy shooting some proper handguns while I'm there. Any suggestions on where to go? I'm going from Belfast right down to Cork. You can go to NHTSA. NHTSA does regularly pop up on the channel, and so if you're watching, make yourself known. It is let me find range. So if you're flying into Belfast, now it makes it a lot easier if you are a UKPSA member, because there will be equipment there. But it's if you're not and you don't have a safety course and all of that, you should probably competition license. If you don't have a UKPSA competition license, then you will need to get in contact with Jim, who runs NHTSA. Because it will be up to him. If you have a competition license in full bore handgun, then you can go and make use of the facilities there as a UKPSA member. But NHTSA, it's they do have guns to rent. Again, I would double check that, depending on what credentials you have, whether you need to go purely as an individual to NHTSA or whether you can make use of the UKPSA facilities, and I will show you where they are. So it's a really short drive from, I say really short, it's a fairly short drive from Belfast. So Belfast, if you're going to be traveling down to Ireland, you'd probably, or if you're going down to Dublin, you are literally going to drive right past NHTSA. So it's on the A1 road. So you can see Belfast, NHTSA, and Dublin and down there. So very well situated. It's a fantastic range, and yeah, I would just, if you do have a shotgun competition license, for a full bore handgun competition license, then you can go there as a UKPSA member. Otherwise, I would get in contact with Jim. Would a 2.2 or straight pull Browning machine gun be legal? It depends. A 2.2 semi-automatic is legal, and a straight pull center fire full bore rifle is legal. In terms of converting a previous Section 5 machine gun into a Section 1, that can't be done. It would have to be built from component parts or built from the ground up as a Section 1, as a straight pull or a 2.2 semi-auto. So that's the only consideration on that one. Franco Grady, do you think in a few years the UKPSA could have a chat with BASC to lobby for full bore pistols to be granted for certificate holders for international representation for the UK competitors in the sport? Absolutely, but I think it would actually be better working with the NRA. The NRA already has a number of competitors that have sporting Section 5 certificates or Section 5 authority. So there is a range at Bisley that is, I believe it's Charlesmore, that they lock down specifically for 7.3 shooting and Section 5. But there are athletes that go there. They have a sporting section. They have sporting Section 5 authority, and they're able to go and train there with Section 5 pistols. Now, I know that the NRA have over the years grown the pool of people that have that authority for sport. I wish they would be a little bit more public about it, maybe push a little bit further, but there is a sort of roadmap there with the NRA, so there could be something to be gained from that. If we're going to push for it in terms of lobbying, I think it needs to be a wide approach. It needs to be everyone, NRA, NSRA, UKPSA, Countryside Alliance, BASC. Who am I forgetting? There's so many other areas of the sport that it affects. So we I don't think it's about just using one, it's about working with everyone. But that's why we have things like the BSSC, the British Shooting Sports Council, which is a combination of all the sort of shooting sports interested parties. That website was ass. When will the UK have constitutional carry? We need the handguns back first. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Told that Smith & Wesson lever will cost you $2,500. Well, still a decent underlever here in the UK is going to be 1,000 to 1,500 quid. And you can start knocking on the door of $2,000 quite easily with the likes of the Marlins. So I don't know, it depends what it offers and how good a quality it actually is. On that note, before you all head off, make sure you hit that like button if you haven't already. Again, apologies, it's just a bit of a ad hoc stream, although I've still enjoyed it. We still had a good old chat. I don't want to create a subject to do a stream, and as I apologize, I've had a very, very busy day, so didn't have a chance to properly dig out a topic, but I hope you all enjoyed it nonetheless. Just as a quick favor, if you are a UKPSA member, please attend the AGM this please attend the AGM this weekend. Of course, I'd absolutely love and appreciate you to vote for myself as treasurer, because I do believe I've got a lot more to offer the association in the role. But I think it's more important, if you're a UKPSA member, regardless of who you're voting for, that you are having your say on the sport, whether you agree or disagree with myself, whether you support or don't. You should have your say on the way that your sport is going. So, first and foremost, if you're a UKPSA member, the AGM's open to all. You might not want to stick around for the whole of it. You may do, but it's the way that you can see where your sport is going and have a say in which way it's going to go. Join there. And again, it would be appreciated if you could join and vote for me. If you literally just want to sign up for the AGM, vote and then leave, as long as you voted for me, I don't really mind. But I did see someone, Sam Davison, thanks for the support. What makes a Magnum cartridge a Magnum? A Magnum, definitely not reading this off of Wikipedia. A Magnum cartridge is a firearm cartridge with a larger case size than or derived from a similar cartridge of the same projectile bullet caliber and case shoulder shape. The term derives from the .357 Magnum, the original revolver cartridge with this designation. For the purpose of this list, Magnum cartridges will only be those labeled Magnum and will not include cartridges with the power of a Magnum cartridge. Yeah, so basically it's something it's a larger case size than or derived from a smaller cartridge of the same projectile slash bullet. There we go. You learn something new every day. But yes, before you all go, guys, hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed. Thank you, as always, for joining. Please attend the AGM. Please vote for me. I think we can. I think we can still do great things, and I can have a positive impact in the sport. But I hope you have a fantastic week. Might even see you at the AGM. If I do, I'll give you a wave. But yeah, have a fantastic week. We will see you same place, same time, 8:30 Thursday next week. But there we go. Have a fantastic one, and of course, as always, guys, hope to see you soon.